This is Mrs. Mary Ratna Anita, and this semester I am going to deal with pharmaceutical microbiology for you all. Before entering into the topic and before learning about the topic, first let us learn what is microbiology. So, microbiology is nothing but micro, that is micron in size, bio, life, and ology is nothing but study of. So, microbiology is nothing but study of life, which is micron in size. And in this subject, we are going to deal about various microorganisms, various scientists who has contributed for the subject, and we are going to deal about the nutritional requirements, how do we cultivate, how do we sterilize. Different topics are there. Once we enter into the topic, we'll talk about. So now the topic which we are going to deal with today is nutrition and growth of microorganisms. Nutrition and growth. So before starting the topic, let me ask you one question. What will happen if you don't eat food for a period of 2 to 3 days, or assume for a period of 1 week? Generally, we feel very weak, we feel wasted, we feel that we don't even have stamina to stand up, and we don't even have stamina to do our routines. But at that time, if we eat food, what will happen? Whatever the food we take, it gets into our body, it gets metabolized in the body, and whatever the nutrients which are present in the body are absorbed by the body, and those are the nutritious substances are converted into energy, and then we feel that we have regained our energy. This is the case with human beings. The same thing happens with the microorganisms also. So microorganisms also need food for their growth and development. So since we are humans, we get our food from different areas and different places, and we try to cook whatever the food we want. But these little tiny organisms, what they generally do, they get their nutritious substances from the habitat they live in. Now you might ask me a question, ma'am, anyways they are getting their nutritious substances from their habitat, so why do we have to learn about the nutritional requirements of these microorganisms? So generally, when they are growing in their natural habitat, we don't need to supply any nutritious substances. But whenever we want to go for studies on these microorganisms, we have to know what are the nutritional requirements, what are the temperature, environmental conditions in which that particular microorganism survive, and what are the different environmental conditions like temperature, pH, concentration, and all the aspects will be taken into consideration. So, to cultivate an organism artificially in the laboratory, we need to know about the nutritional requirements of the microorganism. So, talking about the nutritional requirements, as we are saying, how do we supply these nutritional requirements to the microorganisms? So, generally there is a term called media. This is something which produces all the nutritional requirements which are required by the microorganisms along with the environmental conditions, with the help of which, that is with the help of this media, we can achieve successful quantity of a culture of a bacteria or a microorganism. So that means media is something in which we add all the nutrients, we maintain all the environmental conditions, and then we add the microorganism in order to grow. Now you can ask me, ma'am, how can we know that this is the particular organism which requires this? So for that we need to go for the screening processes. We have to take out the microorganisms from the population, and then we have to separate the microorganisms which are required in the particular organism. That is a different criteria. So to isolate the particular microorganism, we have to go for screening process. Now talking about the main topic, that is nutritional requirements. So as I said, these microorganisms also require nutrition. So the major nutritional requirements for these microorganisms are: 1 are macronutrients, 2 micronutrients, 3 gases, 4 growth factors, and 5 water or moisture. So you can see that these are all required by humans also. So macronutrients, the name itself says macro, that means in large quantity. So the nutrients which are required in large quantity are macronutrients. The nutrients which are required in smaller quantity or less quantity are micronutrients. And the gases, different gases, what we humans need oxygen to survive. So in the same way, even the microorganisms also need different gases to survive. And growth factors in order to grow and develop, and moisture, that is water, for their survival. So these are the different nutritional requirements, and we have to learn about one by one in detail. So today we will just see the highlights of the macronutrients which are required by the microorganisms. So talking about the macronutrients, there are 6 elements that fall under these macronutrients. One is carbon, 2 hydrogen, 3 nitrogen, 4 oxygen, 5 phosphorus, 6 sulfur. So these are the 6 major macronutrients which are required by the microorganisms. So when we see them clearly, we can say that all the organic compounds like your carbohydrates, your vitamins, your minerals, all are made up of these 6 elements only. And the most important thing is these 6 elements form the 95% of the total dry cell weight. Now when you deal about each and individual element like carbon, so generally the organisms are again divided into 2 kinds, autotrophs and heterotrophs. When you talk about carbon, so the organisms that utilizes inorganic substances as a source of energy are called as autotrophs, and the one which oxidizes or reduces the organic substances like carbohydrates and all are called as heterotrophs. So when you talk about the hydrogen, even these form the major component of different organic compounds like your carbohydrates and all. So the atmospheric hydrogen will be converted, oxidized, and it will help in producing water in the soil. And when we talk about the nitrogen, so this forms around 14% of your total dry cell weight. And similarly, like carbon, even different types of microorganisms get their nitrogen from different sources. For example, some organisms get their nitrogen by breaking down the proteins, some by the process of nitrogen fixation, where atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonium ions, and the organisms gets their nitrogen from ammonia. So generally, ammonia in the form of ammonium ions is the chief source for nitrogen. And talking about the oxygen, now depending upon the utilization of the oxygen, see, we humans cannot survive without oxygen, but this is not the same case with microorganisms. So depending upon the utilization of the oxygen, there are 4 different kinds of microorganisms. There are obligate aerobes, facultative anaerobes, aerotolerant anaerobes, and obligate anaerobes. So talking about the obligate aerobes, these are the organisms which purely and strictly require oxygen for their growth and development. Whereas facultative anaerobes, these are the organisms which can fairly survive in the presence as well as in the absence of oxygen. Whereas aerotolerant organisms, these are the organisms which survive in the presence of oxygen but does not utilize oxygen for their growth. And obligate, these are the organisms which totally and completely survive in the absence of oxygen. If minute traces of oxygen is also present, you cannot survive. So in the same way, you have oxygen toxicity also. Some enzymes are sensitive to presence of oxygen. Even the minute traces of oxygen can lead to lethal actions. For example, in nitrogen fixation, the atmosphere, as I said, atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonium ions in the presence of an enzyme called nitrogenase. So this nitrogenase gets affected by the presence of minute traces of oxygen, and it turns to be lethal. It turns to be it turns to be toxic oxides and radicals like hydrogen peroxide. And about phosphorus, generally these are utilized for aquatic or marine microorganisms, and sulfur, it is also utilized in the form of sulfates. So This is the general description about your macronutrients. So if we go in detail, if we go in study, there is much to learn. So I'm just winding up with a few points which have covered the macronutrients. And when we talk about the subject in future, in the class, we can deal in detail about each and every element, and also along with this we can talk about the micronutrients, gases and growth factors and other requirements of the organism.